you very much, Sophie, and welcome everyone today, this morning. My name, as Sophie mentioned, is Rodrigo. I'm responsible for audio at Axis Canada. And the idea of today's session is to give you a couple ideas and also examples on how network audio can be part of a whole solution for different areas inside of end user business, and how is that going to help them. And for that, I'm going to talk about two examples, and that probably can help us to open the conversation to probably more questions or any other inquiries or interests that you may have as you hear more about network audio. So before I start, I want just to mention, because we're going to talk about these during the presentation today, on how audio helps the organizations and where you as a system integrator can take advantage of audio. So the first area that you can use audio for is audio for security. And in here, the idea of audio is that we complement the existing security system with audio elements. And the idea behind this is that by having a camera, and probably by having access control or having other elements in your security system, you're going to be able to protect the premise up to a certain level. But that is not going to be complete if you're not going to be able to take action when something is happening, or somehow be more proactive on the security approach. Now, the audio portion in here is going to help those users to provide those notifications and those deterrent messages at the moment of something is happening. For protection in the perimeter, that is perfect, because the moment that the camera detects something, either by motion or by any other type of analytic or any other sensor that you have in place, then audio can be triggered automatically. Now, when we're talking about audio, we're also going to be referring about safety, because now audio is a great way on how we catch people's attention. And by using that, we're going to be able to communicate messages that are important. Could be something critical, could be something probably life-threatening, could be something related to in giving some directions and giving some guidance in the case of a specific process. And finally, we're going to be using audio as well for operations. Now, in this case, the purpose or the benefit of using audio in here is to create some engagement. If we're talking about customers, let's talk about a bank, or let's talk about a retail store. Now, there is going to be communication to create a brand, to let them know about some important information about the products or about the services. But also at the same time, we can use audio as a way to communicate important messages to staff, employees, and make things seamless or process that before it will be more complicated. And I'll give you some examples as we go through it. But this is important for you to know that when we are talking about audio, we can use it in different sections of a project. The benefit for you as a system integrator is that potentially you can start a project that is about security, but that is going to also open the doors to probably do something related to safety or do something related to operations. And that will also benefit your company, because you can grow over time in other areas inside of the same organization. Now, I'm going to talk about an example in here, and to give you a good sense on how audio is being implemented in projects. And one important thing about here is that sometimes these benefits or these applications that I just talked about in this slide, in the previous slide, is sometimes is very very blurry. It doesn't look like it is any different application, but there are actually different things happening in here. And as you come to your customers and you present these benefits and present these possibilities that they can take advantage of things, now they're going to be able to think a little bit different, because security and audio has been not that connected. Is more like the audio in the alarms or the sounds that you hear on certain systems. But now we're going to be able to tie other systems that are going to help you to help us to create a more comprehensive system. So this company is called Graham Construction, and they are based in Alberta. However, they have many sites across Canada, and they're a very, very big construction company. So one of the challenges of construction companies is when they start working on a site, number one, they're large sites. They are very, very big properties of land, and they have lots of equipment, and they have to leave the equipment overnight as they continue progressing on the construction site. And there is always the risk of having thefts, the risk of people taking things. Sometimes what has happened what happened to Graham is that from a previous site, people will come to the new site and will try to steal some of this equipment. A lot of this equipment is something that they can move, there's something that they can take, and well, it's expensive. Now, the second challenge is that because there are very large sites, there's a lot of people working here during the day. Now, when there is an emergency situation, something, probably a gas leak or something related to some life-threatening situation, they need to inform everyone and let them know that something is happening so they can evacuate as soon as possible. Now, when you have these open sites and you have all this machinery, another challenge is that it's very noisy. So it's not enough just to yell from distance and try to let everyone know. So here, the role of audio was twofold. Number one, when they install these sites, the way they deploy them is they have these mobile platforms. So they install around 12 to 15 platforms depending on the site, and every of these platforms have a generator, and this generator also comes with a post, and in that post they install lights, they install cameras. The cameras they are using is this, as you can see in the picture, is the Q6000 series that comes with some fixed cameras but also a PTZ camera, and in addition to that they install some speakers that are going to be really loud to cover the outside and covering both directions, because very similar to cameras can only see when they're fixed on one direction. So now we're going to have audio pointing in opposite directions to cover more area. Now they have all these posts across all these sites, and the way they communicate all these and gather all the information is creating a wireless network. They have one main trailer site in which they receive everything on a VMS. The VMS is responsible for taking all this information in, and if anything happens overnight, motion is detected or any of the analytics that are working in here, then the camera is going to start recording. Now, one of the challenges they faced before they actually deployed the solution was that the two generators were stolen from the site. And when the construction company called the police, well, they told them, well, we can open a file for you, but not an investigation because you don't have evidence, you don't have any video footage, you don't have a name, so we cannot start any investigation, right? So there's a risk involved as well in here. So for them, the benefit now is that they can have all the footage recorded on these VMS, and they also can trigger events based on situations. Now, if there is a situation in which they need to notify employees during the day, every single post comes with an emergency button. And this emergency button is nothing more than one of those industrial rated buttons that if somebody presses that button, it means that there is something that is important to evacuate the site. So what is going to happen, that is going to be a trigger, and that is connected into an I/O that at the same time is going to generate a trigger on the speakers to start playing an alarm to let everyone know that that is a message for evacuation. Now, in addition to that, they also have LED lights, so during the night they can have these sites illuminated, and they can capture everything that is happening in there. They have had some incidents even after installing these security system. Some people have stolen some stuff, but now they have evidence, and now they show that video to the people because they were able to recognize them because now the cameras as well can be tracking motion overnight. And when they showed that video, well, the tools and the equipment were returned. So this has improved the way they are approaching the security on the site, reduce liability, project management obviously have less delays in terms of all these incidents that we're experiencing before, and at the same time during the day that safety is improved. So as you can see here, well, audio is being used for the safety side of things in combination with a security side. Everything is managed through a VMS platform. Now, the second example I want to talk about is in a park. This is a Parks Canada, and it's a park in Alberta. And what they have, it's again big extension of land. They have locations in different parts of the property, and one of the challenges is access overnight or during the day. Only for certain areas that are restricted to employees, and they have a visitor center. And the visitor center, this is where all the people come and go and register and access the park. Now, in the visitor center, they have had in the past some security incidents. In a way that they implemented the security was through using a security alarm. However, if there was an employee that was staying late or they had to come early in the morning, well, if they didn't know how to deactivate the alarm or where the alarm was located, that could be a false alarm and trigger. In other cases, as well, providing the access only to people that need to be there by using cards and by using access control. Now, in here, one of the ways that audio was implemented was inside of that visitor center was by when the alarm is enabled, if someone comes inside of the building, there is a detection by a camera. Motion detection on a camera will trigger a message on the speaker and will say the alarm is active. You have 30 seconds to deactivate the alarm, or the authorities are gonna come soon, right? So people that work there, they know what they need to do. They go to the panel, they deactivate it, done. At the end of the day, if they want to enable the alarm, then they enable it, and then there is another message saying you have 30 seconds to leave the building before the alarm can start the alarm system. So this has been a notification at times that they need to close or open early in the morning, but also during the day, they also have other types of notifications for visitors. So in here, as I mentioned before, not only the role of audio as a security or safety, but also for operations. So in here, they can give just notifications that are repetitive, that they want visitors to know something important about the rules of the park or something important that is happening at the park. As well, when they have in the outdoor, they have certain areas, they have parking lots that they have had some incidents where people just go at night and they start just doing donuts with their vehicles and just racing in there. So by using speakers and by playing messages on demand, when those incidents are detected, then are also able to deter those individuals from doing those things. Remember, the distances are very long, so rather than sending a person or a vehicle all the way there, now by using cameras and by having all these in a way that is interconnected, it's an easier way to work all together as a system. So these are two examples on how audio can be used, but there are many others. And just to kind of brainstorm and give you some ideas on how this can work together. But as you can see, audio can be used as part of an existing system, can be used as part of a completely new system, can be added later on a project. So you can start just with video surveillance, then audio can be part of that. You can add it as a complement to a separate system, right? The benefits of using IP audio are plenty of them, but one of probably the most important one is the possibility to interconnect different elements, different technologies. When we're talking about IP technologies, we're not talking about only cameras, but we're also talking about IP phone systems. We're also talking about other security systems or other types of systems that the customers probably already have in place. So I'm going to pass it over to Sophie now and Robert.
Thank you, Rodrigo. Not only audio is efficient, but it also prevents you from practicing donuts in the parking lot. You're cutting all the fun.